Sergey Derevyanchenko is earning more money to fight Gennady Golovkin this weekend than he was offered to fight Canelo, boxing superstar. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, they're doing the fight week promotional duties for Gennady Golovkin versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. Should be a solid fight, and it'll be on DAZN. And the manager of Derevyanchenko, he has an advisor, Al Heyman, and also his manager, who is being, quote, I'm going to get ready to quote Keith Connolly. That's his manager. He also manages Danny Jacobs as well. And he says, quote, I knew at some point we'd get here because Sergey is one of the best middleweights in the world. As far as how we got here and how we got the Golovkin fight, it was crazy. At first, I thought we were going to get the Canelo fight. They couldn't come up with the money that I thought was fair for the fight, and I think they called our bluff, and then they lost, and then that's when they got stripped, right? He also says he's going to make more here versus Triple G than whatever was offered with Canelo. He says, I'm not going to get into the figure, but Sergey will take home more money net for fighting Golovkin than he would have for fighting Canelo. Anybody that says we were crazy to turn down the Canelo fight doesn't know the facts and doesn't know the business. He fought Jack Kukale after the Jacobs fight, a guy that's hard to look good against. He made Demetrius Andrade, who's one of the hardest guys to beat in any weight class, only win by split decision. Sergey fought him to get to this position. Anyone that says he doesn't deserve to be here, to put it in slang terms, is a hater. He deserves to be here and deserves every penny that he's making. So, very interesting stuff. In my opinion, nothing really shocks me in boxing just because it's that type of sport. Like even fights, you know, you never expect certain things to happen, like Tyson Fury to look vulnerable versus an unknown guy, auto-violent, and then he does and gets cut. So I don't really get shocked with boxing, but I will say the behavior is shocking that Golden Boy allowed Canelo to not fight in September, trying to call someone's bluff. And then it comes out that he's making more money to fight Golovkin. That doesn't even make sense. Canelo at the time had just unified with Danny Jacobs, who beat Sergey Derevyanchenko, and he had multiple belts. He had 2 belts, I believe, and well, he might have had 3, whatever amount of belts he had. No, because actually he kind of had 3, and then they franchise championed him. That's what it was. But he had 2 or 3 belts. And Canelo is supposed to be the money man of the division. And now it's coming out that Derevyanchenko is making more money to fight Golovkin, who Canelo beat and is beltless at Madison Square Garden. That's crazy. So it brings new questions, at least to my mind, about what they're doing with the DAZN pay scale, right? Guys like Triple G could fight Steve Rolls, and allegedly he got 15, 18 million, something like that, for that type of fight, which you know is not going to generate the ultimate interest in boxing fans. So that was kind of like a freebie money grab for Triple G. So it benefits him, but it doesn't really benefit boxing. You know, I'm glad fighters are making more money than ever and stuff, and I'm cool, but what's the point of not growing the sport with matches like that really didn't need to take place? There could have been somebody out there that was more deserving of the fight for Triple G, right? Then you look at Canelo, and same thing. He's fighting Rocky Fielding, getting 22 million or whatever he's supposed to be getting, and then he fights Jacobs, and between Jacobs and Canelo, they have like 48-50 million dollars just in their purses. You know, that for a fight like that seems crazy with no pay-per-view, that you're paying out your main event $50 million, $40 million. That's a lot of money with no pay-per-view, because I keep telling you guys, the benefit to pay-per-view, and I'm all for savings and being frugal, so I'm just telling you the business of pay-per-view is you're asking the fans to chime in and support what they like. And that's how you facilitate those bigger paychecks and bigger events, because the fans, you're basically asking for them to purchase a ticket, you know. And DAZN came out with this. They thought it was so ingenious and the Netflix of boxing, but I don't really see it working. They haven't really put a dent in pay-per-view. If anything, we've gotten more pay-per-views from like PBC. They even tried Crawford Khan on ESPN pay-per-view, which we don't get many ESPN pay-per-views. So they've really done nothing to rid the boxing world of pay-per-views. You've actually seen an influx, which is not a good sign for DAZN, especially with their price hikes and a lot of their fights falling out for illness and failed drug tests and different things like that. But the bottom line is, it's to me a bit crazy that Derevyanchenko gets more money to fight a beltless Golovkin, who lost and his only victory is Steve Rolls. And Derevyanchenko is rated higher than Golovkin. He's rated #1. That's why he was to fight Canelo. But then when that fight fell apart, then they go to the #2 guy, which happened to be Golovkin. So Derevyanchenko is rated higher than Golovkin within the IBF, the belt he's fighting for the vacant belt. And somehow he's making more money. Like, just this pay scale doesn't make sense. So I'm curious what's going on, why Golden Boy would allow Canelo to look how he has over negotiating. It's like, you know, trying to lowball someone, offer someone peanuts. That's crazy to me, because you have to understand Canelo had an opportunity to capture the quote unquote Mexican dates by beating Floyd Mayweather. He came up way short against Floyd Mayweather. So when Floyd retired, just based on his heritage, being from Guadalajara, Mexico, he had the opportunity to capture those dates. He was the biggest star in boxing, is the biggest star in boxing. And he says, I'm claiming these dates. Canelo's supposed to fight Cinco de Mayo weekend and Mexican Independence Day weekend, second week of September. Last year, he didn't fight Cinco de Mayo weekend because he failed a drug test, 2 drug tests, February 17th and 20th with clenbuterol. He protests it and says he didn't know and unwillingly took something through, you know, administered through eating tainted meat. You know, people feel what they want, but he didn't fight Cinco de Mayo, and Triple G fought Vanes Martirosyan. Then this year, he had to give up the second Mexican date that we knew he wanted to fight on. And it's because you try to negotiate with Kovalev. He said, his team said you lowballed him, and Jacobs made more money. And they said, that's bullshit, because this is my division. I'm a champion at light heavyweight. So we'll just fight Anthony Yard. We're running out of time. That's my mandatory. I'm going to fight him. And then they went to the Derevyanchenko team trying to make that fight, you know, because that was his mandatory. Canelo was the belt holder, and they lowballed him. And then now he's fighting Golovkin for more money, you know. So that with the franchise champion stuff with Canelo, it's just not a good look. The fact that he's fighting Kovalev, 36, 37 years old, a bit shop worn on the last tail end of his career after he almost got stopped versus Anthony Yard. It just, none of this is a good look. And I don't understand the business model that DAZN is utilizing here, where you could pay Steve Rolls whatever he got, but pay Triple G $15 million to fight Steve Rolls, pay Canelo $36 million, but to ensure Canelo gets the date, he's your biggest star on the app, and to ensure that he gets the Derevyanchenko fight and doesn't get stripped, you're trying to call his bluff, and you won't give him more money. And then come to find out, Triple G's side was able to get it done, and now they're fighting for a belt. That's a bad look, man. That's a really bad look for Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo, this is not my words, this is Canelo. Canelo said this year, earlier to ESPN Deportes, his goal was to unify the middleweight division. Having Jamal Charlo become a full-body champion and you being elevated to franchise champion because you failed to fight him, you know, that was a horrible look. Then to top it off, you tried to get Kovalev. He says you lowballed him, so you weren't able to get the fight for September. Then you go to Derevyanchenko. They're saying you lowballed him, and then you get stripped of a belt. And then now you're fighting Kovalev. So either way, it's the opposite of unifying a division if you got all this stuff coming about all in a small concentrated period of time. You know, Golden Boy, they really had to look into the numbers, because Ryan Garcia was also complaining about he's a superstar and he has 3-4 million Instagram followers and people come to see him and he's not on the main event, nor is he getting paid like he deserves, like, you know, to correspond with the amount of press and attention and fans buying tickets. So somebody got to look into these DAZN and Golden Boy numbers, because it doesn't make sense. I can't justify how Derevyanchenko is making more money to fight a non-champion, and Canelo's the biggest star in boxing, and he had 2-3 belts, and Golden Boy was trying to stall him out and call his bluff rather than securing that September fight date and really making sure the fight went through. Like, you're going to be that stingy where you're not going to give him an extra 3-4 million or whatever. I don't know, because they haven't really said the terms or the numbers, but all we know is, according to his manager, longtime manager Keith Connolly, he's making more for Triple G. So that to me sounds crazy. You supposed to be, people want to fight Floyd Mayweather, yes, for the opportunity to beat him, but also it's going to be their biggest paycheck. Robert Guerrero never received a paycheck at that time, like it was when he fought Floyd Mayweather, when Floyd was the cash cow. So I don't understand how fighting Canelo, so many people are complaining about being lowballed. You know, the guys that feel that they have a bit of stock in the division. Crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.